NCCER HVAC Introduction to Cooling Exam Questions. Latent heat of vaporization. The heat gained in changing from a liquid to gas, water to steam. Radiation. The movement of heat in the form of invisible rays or waves, similar to light. Brine. Water saturated with large amounts of salt. In HVAC industry, the term typically describes any water-based mixture that contains substances such as salt or glycols that lower its freezing point. Pump-down control. A control scheme that includes a liquid refrigerant solenoid valve that closes to initiate the system off cycle. Once the valve closes, the compressor continues to operate, pumping most of all of the remaining refrigerant out of the evaporator coil. This eliminates the chance of excess liquid refrigerant forming in the evaporator coil during the off cycle. A thermostat typically controls the solenoid valve, while a low-side pressure switch and/or timer controls the compressor. Convection. Process by which, in a fluid being heated, the warmer part of the mass will rise and the cooler portions will sink. Absolute pressure. Positive pressure measurements that starts at 0. Gauge pressure plus the pressure of the atmosphere, 14.7 psi sea level at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Total heat. Sensible heat plus latent heat. Pressure. The force exerted by a substance is against its area of containment. Thermistor. A semiconductor device that changes resistance with a change in temperature. Barometer. An instrument that measures atmospheric pressure, typically in units of inches of mercury. Hygroscopic. Describes a material that readily, and sometimes aggressively, absorbs water from the atmosphere or other adjacent material. Slug. Traditionally refers to a significant volume of oil returning to the compressor at once, primarily at startup. This term is incorrectly used by some to describe refrigerant floodback. Desiccant. A material that absorbs and holds water from any adjacent source, including the atmosphere. Ton of refrigeration. Large unit for measuring the rate of heat transfer. Defined as 12,000 TS per hour or 12,000 Ta. Hydrocarbons. Compounds composed of only carbon and hydrogen in various combinations. Surge chamber. A vessel or container designed to hold both liquid and vapor refrigerant. The liquid is generally fed out of the bottom into the evaporator, while vapor is drawn from the top of the container by the compressor to maintain refrigerant temperature through pressure. Enthalpy. The total heat content, sensible and latent, of a refrigerant or other substance. Comfort cooling. Cooling related to the comfort of humans in buildings and residences. 60 degrees Fahrenheit 15.5 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Fahrenheit 26.6 degrees Celsius. British thermal unit. The amount of heat needed to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water 1 degree Fahrenheit. Conductors. A material in which the transfer of heat by conduction occurs easily. Rupture disc. A pressure relief device that protects a vessel or other container from damage if pressures exceed a safe level. They typically consist of a specific material at a precise thickness that will break or fracture when the pressure limit is reached, thereby protecting the rest of the container from damage. Sensible heat. Heat energy that can be measured by a thermometer or sensed by touch. Latent heat of fusion. The heat gained or lost in changing to or from a solid state, ice to water or water to ice. Gauge pressure. The pressure measured on a gauge, expressed as pounds per square inch, sig, or inches of mercury vacuum, in HVAC compound. As related to refrigerants, a refrigerant formed by a union of two or more refrigerants to form a new refrigerant. Atmospheric pressure. The pressure exerted on all things on Earth's surface as a result of the weight of the atmosphere. It is 14.7 psi at sea level at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. It may also be expressed as 29.92 inches of mercury. Fluorocarbons. A compound formed by replacing one or more of the hydrogen atoms in a hydrocarbon with fluorine atoms. Specific heat. The amount of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 pound of a substance 1 degree Fahrenheit. Mixture. As related to refrigerants, a combination of two or more substances that are not chemically combined. The combined refrigerants remain separate and do not form a unique refrigerant. Halocarbons. Such as methane and ethane, that have most or all of their hydrogen atoms replaced with the elements fluorine, chlorine, bromine, astatine, or iodine. Latent heat of condensation. The heat given up or removed from a gas in changing back to a liquid state, steam to water. Superheat. The additional, increase in temperature of a refrigerant vapor after it has completed the change of state from a liquid to a vapor. Only after the phase change is complete can the vapor begin to increase in temperature as additional heat is applied. Subcooling. The reduction in temperature of a refrigerant liquid after it has completed the change in state from a vapor. Only after the phase change is complete can the liquid begin to decrease in temperature as heat is removed. Latent heat. The heat energy absorbed or rejected when a substance is in the process of changing state, solid to liquid, liquid to gas, or the reverse of either change. Conduction. A means of heat transfer in which heat is moved from one material to another through direct contact. Halogens. Substances containing fluorine, chlorine, bromine, astatine, or iodine. Thermocouple. A device made of two different metals that generates electricity when there is a difference in temperature from one end to the other. Saturation temperature. The boiling temperature of a substance at a given pressure. In the saturated condition, both liquid and vapor is likely present in the same space. Insulators. Material that resists the heat transfer by conduction. Refrigerant floodback. A significant amount of liquid refrigerant that returns to the compressor through the suction line. Underscore can have a number of causes, such as a metering device that overfeeds refrigerant or a failed evaporator fan motor.